do you make of my assessment that this jury was rejecting not just the facts in the case, but the prosecution's overreach?
Well, that's a plausible argument. I'm not going to deny that. It clearly appears that the prosecution did overreach. You had lawyers all over the place swearing that's exactly what happened with the Southern District of New York, and there's no way around it. I mean, we heard some very disgusting things throughout the trial, things that I don't think, from an image perspective, Sean Diddy Combs can recover from. But let me tell you something: he doesn't give a damn about that today. Nope. What he cares about is that he knows that the worst case scenario doesn't involve him spending the rest of his life in prison, because sex trafficking and RICO charges were charges he was acquitted of. And so as a result of all that we heard, I just saw Ray J saying what he said, and the one point that I'd like to peel from that is that you do find yourself looking at the court system, and in this particular instance, the Southern District of New York, and you find yourself saying to them, you tried to convict him in the court of public opinion, because you certainly succeeded in that. All of us look at him with far more than a raised eyebrow. But that wasn't the district attorney's office job. Your job was to get him convicted in the court of law, and you didn't pull it off because your case wasn't strong enough in the eyes of 12 jurors who said there's no way on earth they should send this man to prison for the rest of his natural life, because you didn't prove a case of sex trafficking or racketeering.
Right. And, you know, it'd be one thing if it was even the district attorney. This was an attorney general. This was the federal courts. And for them to do it this way was a big swing and a miss. I mean, you know, he's a guy who did bad things, and everybody knows it, but it doesn't mean that they met this burden. All right, so let's talk about perception and reality on another very big front of our budgeting process. James Carville, there is a notion that Bill O'Reilly will certainly defend tonight, that you got to pass this bill or we will go into a recession. What do you make of that?
Well, you pass it, we'll probably go into a recession. If you don't pass it, we'll probably go into a recession. I'm not totally sure it's related, but I think Bill is correct. I mean, the Republicans don't have much choice. They got to pass something. I mean, they just can't pass gas. And when it's finally said and done, I don't know what it's going to look like, but it'll look like something. But it seems to be a pretty tough vote count to face with right now.
Bill, you say he has to pass this, but it seems that it is such a disappointment on the spending side that where is the win in this for Trump?
The win is that he gets an economy that will make Republicans win the midterms, so he can have 3.5 more years to do what he wants. It's simple as that. I just want to say one thing about the Sean Combs situation.
Oh, sure.
I interviewed him way back, and I never liked him. I don't like the culture or anything like that. But he's going to get the maximum. The judge will give him the maximum, just like they gave O.J. Simpson the maximum in Vegas, because he got off Simpson in L.A. when he clearly killed these two people. And then when he got a second crack at him on a minor beef, relatively, of theft, they sentenced him to heavy time. So Diddy will go to prison, and he should. He's evil. And I say that because I just wrote a book called Confronting Evil.
Yeah,
he used narcotics and violence to coerce people to do what he wanted to do. That's evil. Sorry.
Go ahead, Stephen.
Now, back to Trump.
Well, hold on. Stephen wants to weigh in on what you just said. Go ahead.
No.
Okay.
Only thing I want to weigh in, I don't want to castigate the entire culture. I'm tired of, we see pictures of a few bad apples conducting themselves in very disgusting manners and thinking that that's the entire industry. I'm a guy that was raised in the hip-hop industry. I know an abundance of hip-hop artists and beyond who have never engaged in, never been accused of, never would think of putting themselves in the kind of positions some have obviously done. So I just want to make sure that we're not castigating everybody. I know you don't like the culture. I don't expect you to like the culture, Bill O'Reilly. You're considerably older than some of us. You look good. You're healthy, thank God. But you're from a different generation. I understand that. But for people like me who grew up in the hip-hop culture, I know a whole bunch of people that would never get themselves tangled up in such a web. A whole bunch.
It's not about personal behavior for the hip-hop industry. It's about the message. And I'm old enough to now school you, Stephen A. If Motown still exists, and that's where I grew up, okay, the black African-American culture would be a much, let's say, gentler. This hip-hop garbage on impressionable children who don't have supervision in a home teaches them to be crude. Motown did not do that. So if you step back and look at history, the industry of R&B was a tremendous positive for this country. The hip-hop industry has been a tremendous negative for this country.
Well, listen, I gotta say one thing, and then I want to move off this. We can do it another time. My kids...
we can do it another time.
As with Stephen A., when I think of hip-hop, I think of Chuck D, who's a very good friend of mine and a mentor and a man of incredible integrity. I think of Tribe Called Quest. I mean, there are just so many great people within that culture. I get what you think about the message, but that's been said about music, you know, from one generation to the next again and again. I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this,
read
Bill.
The lyrics.
As somebody, of course I read the lyrics. I know the lyrics. I sing the lyrics. What I'm saying is... What I'm saying is this,
crude,
Bill, you don't have to like
generally speaking.
But there's a lot of crude music, and as somebody with 3 kids who grew up in hip-hop, in the hip-hop era, as white kids, it has given them a cultural commonality that I think only benefits us. But let's put that to the side for now. There's an assertion about this bill, James, which is, if you pass this bill, the tax cuts, which is what he's talking about, Bill O'Reilly, they will give us a strong economy because they did it the first time. Do you accept that premise?
Absolutely not. There is no evidence that cutting taxes on rich people does anything but explode the deficit. You know, I remember, Chris, you were old enough to remember 1993 when we passed the Clinton economic passage, which, by the way, led to the most booming economic time since World War II. I mean, it's been proven so many times that the only thing that this is going to accomplish is going to put $3.3 trillion in more debt, which is going to cause interest rates to go up, which is going to cause the cost of living to go up, which is going to crush people. This bill is 25 points underwater, and it's going to go deeper. It's going to drown a lot of people, I promise you.
Bill.
The American consumer will have more money in his or her pockets if the bill is passed. If it's not passed, then the tax hikes take effect at the end of this year, which is going to doom the economy. Now, if you look at what happened the first time around, and if you look at the tariffs, the exact words that James just used, spike of inflation and this and that, that was supposed to happen with the tariffs. Of course, that did not happen. So what I'm telling everyone is this. Consumers drive the U.S. economy. The more money consumers have, the better the economy will be. If you take more money from them through elevated taxation, you're dooming the economy. And there are no cuts for the rich. All this does is keep what was legislated in 2017.
Which were cuts for the rich
well,
back then.
Well, it just keeps the cuts.
Yeah, I get it.
That's your opinion.
It's not an opinion. It was
That's your opinion.
It was 85 cents of every dollar of cut went to the top. I got it because I'm in that cut. I know exactly what it did, and now they're going to give me my SALT taxes back, which I'm very happy about. But it's good for the top.
The
it's
brackets
not necessarily
are the brackets.
I know. I'm just saying I'm in the top bracket. I get it.
You're twisting it.
I'm not twisting it.
You're twisting it. The brackets will stay the same.
I know.
The same.
And
that's what it will do.
I know.
No, it's no more tax cuts for the rich. It's small businesses.
It's not small businesses.
Pass-throughs. Yes, it is. It's pass-throughs for small business.
Pass-throughs if you are very successful and make enough money with your pass-throughs so that you're in the top bracket, which overwhelmingly most small business people do not. Stephen A.
It helps business across
Bill O'Reilly.
the board. Go ahead. Yes, Stephen.
Bill O'Reilly, you know, I'm going to do something I've never done on TV. I've got enough jobs. I've got enough of a busy schedule, but I'm going to make time to come on your show to debate you, okay, about some of the stuff that has come out of your mouth this evening. This is sensational stuff, and it's good to see you, James. It's good to see you, buddy. Let me touch on this on a couple of ways. Number one, when you talk about how it's not going to it's not going to mean tax breaks for the rich. Well, Trump himself said it's going to be tax breaks for everybody across the board. That's what he's talking about, preserving the 2017 tax cuts. That's number one.
Across the board.
Number two, hold on. Excuse me, that's what he said. But it includes them. Now, let's understand this also. You're also somebody that wrote about how representatives are held hostage because guess what? You said, notice that not one single Democrat has voted for the big, beautiful bill. And now that Trump, you saw how he turned against Representative, how he turned against Massey and others, right? Because they're at the mercy of Trump because their careers will be ruined. Well, why are Republicans having a problem with this bill? If it's going to institute or keep the tax cuts in place, if it's going to be for a better economy, if it's going to stimulate the economy and help most Americans, why are the Republicans being resistant to Donald Trump? I didn't hear you address that bill, and I want to.
I wasn't asked the question, Stephen A., and it's an easy answer.
It's my fault.
Okay?
It's
because
my
they
fault.
want more cuts to government. Massey wants more. Rand Paul wants more. They bought Murkowski in Alaska. That's how it got through the Senate. They bought her.
Yeah, they bought her.
She admits it. All I have to do is write for Alaska. They gave me all kinds of stuff, so I said yes.
So she gets the pass with her constituents.
System.
It is.
Both parties are held hostage to the power
The parties are killing us. The parties are killing us.
You go against Trump, he's going to primary you.
The parties are killing us.
You go against Schumer, he's going to dry up your money. Okay? That's the way it is. It's wrong. Shouldn't be that way.
You're right.
But let's live in the real world. And you'll get the real world, Stephen A., when you come on the No Spin News with your dopey take about hip-hop. I'm defending Motown. I can't wait for that debate.
I'm looking forward to it.
I will actually,
some of the stuff that's come out of your mouth tonight.
I'll actually watch that one.
I can't wait.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.